Previously on For-Cinetroller.
Hello there, Knack. Do you want any of my Cheez-It snacks?
So, I kidnapped a child off the playground. Was this the last time we saw Knack? Because no! They made a sequel! I'm back with some unfinished business. So, apparently, a child from the playground followed me home because he wanted Cheez-It snacks. And Knack 2. It's a game that exists, that came out on a console, and it costed money.
So, a generic, mediocre game that was a launch title got a sequel, and would it be better than the original Knack? Well, no one cared that this game existed, and the Knack franchise crashed and burned.
I don't have a choice because I own both games. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now we are going back to 2017. And I'm sorry about making you all feel ancient.
Knack got a sequel 4 years after the original game because, yes, Knack was the platformer mascot of the PS4. The thing about Sony and with the PlayStation brand is that each PlayStation console has had their own platformer mascot, and then after each console generation, they abandoned the characters. The PS1 had Crash Bandicoot, the PS2 had Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, the PS3 had Sackboy from Little Big Planet, the PS4 had Knack, and currently the PS5 has Astro. While Sega and Nintendo consistently stuck with Mario and Sonic after Sega abandoned Alex Kidd. Remember Alex Kidd from the Sega Master System? Remember him? So, since Knack was the mascot of the PS4, he just had to have a sequel.
Maybe this game won't be that bad at all.
Oh god, it is actually kind of better. Okay, maybe on the surface, if you have not played any of the two Knack games and are not familiar with any of those games, and if I put the two side by side, they look like the same game, but the second one is actually a lot better. The story is not much better though. The same characters from the original game are back from the original. DreamWorks would like their Hiccup model back, and Spaghetti Beard, voiced by Knuckles the Echidna, is back from the original game.
Nope. I'm not doing this lame ass pun with this. Nope. I'm not. I'm not doing this.
My main problem with the story is that it is predictable and cliche. Hiccup wants to be treated less like a child and taken more seriously and treated like an adult like any teenager would. Ava, who is a hot chick, works for the bad guy and eventually betrays the bad guy because Ava is hot.
Guess what is the main villain's motivation?
He wants to take over the world. Same motivation as the villain from the original game. I get that this game tries to be a story-driven game because it is a PlayStation game, and the PlayStation 4 is known for story-driven games like Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us. but the story just falls flat, and I think the story would be better if it was more simple. Nothing against story-driven games, but for a game like Knack, the story shouldn't try to do anything crazy. Yes, there are similarities with the gameplay from the first Knack, because remember the yellow crystals from the first game? Instead of smashing them for moves to kill all enemies on screen, instead they are used for health or your shield. This game introduced lightsabers from those red and yellow crystals, which you are invincible and you can swing around lightsabers. And the combat in Knack 2 is more complex than the original game. Instead of just hitting square for attack, there are punches, kicks, and block. And you can deflect projectiles at enemies. Through playing the game, you unlock special moves, mostly throughout the story. There is the multi-punch, where you pull multiple punches, which is useful against tougher enemies. Later in the game, you unlock the ability to grab enemies from far away, and to grapple platforms for platforming. It is so fun to grab an enemy from 10 feet and doing the multi-punch. It's so fun. Sure, there were moves in the game that I used more often than others, but I had more fun with the combat in this game than the original.
Get over here!
Your mother! Then, later, you get an upgrade that makes you shuriken after multi-punching enemies, but I find it more fun to uppercut to finish off enemies than the shuriken that you unlock late in the game, which is used for defeating shielded enemies. There is also a menu where you unlock some more moves and upgrade moves you already have. I didn't completely unlock all the moves in the game, but I went out of my way to replay levels I already beat to unlock more special moves.
Am I having fun with this game? Is this game fun? Can I please have something to bitch and moan about?
You also unlock the boomerang, which is useful for smaller enemies and for killing enemies from farther away. My main issue is that both the boomerang and grabbing is mapped at the triangle button, which can make it annoying because when wanting to grab an enemy, I ended up throwing instead. Earlier in the game, I still used the square button quite a lot, like the first game, but then later I unlocked the charge punch, which you hold the circle button for, which is why I ended up pressing the circle button a lot more. The game can still feel as bland and generic as the first one, but the second game is better and enjoyable. Instead of just going from point A to point B and beating enemies, this game has trickier platforming that actually takes thinking and challenge, and the platforming sections was where I ended up dying the most in this game. The platforming sections were nothing special, but I actually had to use my brain. There are also little puzzles in the game in which you pull switches and push boxes, which actually had my brain running a bit, but the game offers hints the moment you get stuck, which ruins it. I guess it's my fault for playing on the normal difficulty.
How dare I play on the normal standard difficulty like I always do? I guess that is my punishment for playing on the medium difficulty.
While this game is a huge improvement over the first Knack game from 2013, this game is still a linear beat-em-up game, and at times, I zone out while playing the game. Mainly during the times when Knack is giant and all I am doing is soccer ball kicking enemies. At least the levels have variety, because one of the levels have you ride a giant robot and drive a tank, but there are only one of those levels each.
Knack, 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 knack.
Then there are quick time events, which don't really add anything, but they are there, and at least the game has replayability after beating the main story of the game. You can go back and play stages you have already beaten, and find hidden goodies and treasure. The hidden treasure and events were in the original game, but Knack 2 is more fun than the original game, so it's worth coming back and getting the hidden treasure. What's weird is that the PS4 tries to block me from recording finding the hidden treasure, and my capture card being like,
I don't give a shit!
Also, you can shrink from Big Knack to Little Knack and back to Big Knack again with a push of a button anytime throughout the game, which is useful for platforming and landing on smaller platforms and going under tight spaces.
Holy shit, this game is good. I regret stabbing myself, but it was a good thing I resurrected like Kenny and I played you. You impressed me.
Hidden treasure is not the only reason to go back playing already beaten levels. There are many challenges in the levels, like get a certain score, or beat the level without dying at the highest difficulty, and so on. There's just so much replayability. Back from the original game, after beating the main story mode, you'll unlock the Coliseum mode and the Time Attack mode, which are much better in Knack 2 than the original game. First of all, the combat is more fleshed out than the original, which makes the Coliseum mode more fun to play. With the Time Attack mode, it's not just playing through the levels already again, but still, because you are only racing to be a part of them, which is not just replaying already beaten levels, because none of the levels in Knack 2 were made to be rushed through, because Knack 2 is a combat-focused game. Those modes are not anything special, but they are neat little distractions.
Wow. Consider me impressed. Knack 2 is a huge improvement over the bland, rushed-out launch title that was Knack 1.
Knack, you are a 5 out of 10, but this game, Knack 2, is around a 7 or an 8 out of 10 range, and is at the quality the first game should have been in the first place. Look at the back of the case of the second game. This says, meet Knack, like we haven't seen him the first time.
Knack had the potential of being a trilogy on the PS4, like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy and the Spyro trilogy on PS1. But since the first game wasn't that good, Knack became a joke, like fucking Bubsy.
I mean, Knack is pretty cool. He has a deep man voice and sounds like the Toxic Avenger, and not an annoying whiny voice like Bubsy.
These guys are just slowing me down. Got any ideas, Ava?
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Uranus!
But since the first game was so bad, we have not seen Knack again after the second game. So pray for Knack and his beloved family. Wait a minute! Knack? That is a stupid name. You are literally a kidney stone monster named Knack. Should I say your name in this voice? Knack!